Okay, this is training video number 5 on Pleasant Holidays on booking a quote. So what we're going to do, we're going to come over here. I'm already logged in. You could go up there if you weren't working on anyone in particular and you were just looking for something to advertise. You could go up here to view all promotions, and that would give you some information. But let's go over here, and let's say we're going to leave Dallas-Fort Worth. And we are going to, let's say, Bahamas. Let's go down here to Freeport. Okay, and let's say we're going to go next spring. But they didn't give us an exact date. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned this in our past training videos, but something you need to keep in mind is that you cannot book flights more than 300 days in advance. So just basically think of 10 months. A lot of people with locations like Disney World or Disneyland, where they're trying to buy a package and they want to start paying on it early just because it's so expensive, they want to go and start paying on that, but they can't add the flights yet. So a lot of them will go ahead and pay for the package itself without the flights in it, and then later on we can add flights, but they need to keep in mind, and you need to notify them that when we add the flights have to be paid all at once. So whether you do it to the package or you add it separately and create another package, whether you go through Expedia, the airlines themselves, you just need to know that. And a lot of people will do that and pay for their flights around income tax time. So now we've entered all of that. I entered for 2 people. There's no hotels available with this vendor. This is where I would go in and I would try using VAX to see if I could get something into this airport. So let's, not multiple destinations, I'm sorry. That's not what I wanted. Let's go back to one destination. So now let's go and look at Bahamas. Nassau. It should be going there. Alright, so 1 room, 2 people. This is where you could also put in a class. So let's look for first class. No flights available, so let's go back to no preferences. Search for flights. It's going slow. Okie dokie. All right, here we go. Okay, so you can come up here to the top and you can choose some filters. What I always like to do is I like to go in and choose the price to where it's choosing the cheapest one first and going up, and then you can come over here and click, all-inclusive property. Well, that knocked the first one off. That was the Atlantis. And you can see these other locations. Luxury included for couples. So this is an adults-only resort. So let's look at this place. We're going to look at the rooms I talked about in one of the other videos, going through and looking at the pictures. I don't care what anything looks like until I see the rooms. I want to see the bedding. That's the first thing I want to look at. Sandals is definitely on cue with that. So now we're going to go over here and we're going to choose a room type. Make sure that you're looking at what is included with this room type. It tells you, this is the luxury included vacation for 2 people in love. So what it might come with, what it might not come with, the room information, and and then it'll tell you if the price goes up, and if so, how much. This is saying how much it's going up per night. So it might not look like a lot here, but if they're going to be there for several days, which in this case I think we've got it down for a week, you're taking 7 days times $40. That can add up really quick. So let's say this is somebody going on their honeymoon, and so we want to kind of look at a honeymoon option. So this is the cheapest one for the honeymoon, and then a lot of them, most of the places, when you book something for a honeymoon or anniversary, you've got to show proof, which means you need your marriage license or something like that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose this one. We added that. We don't need a bedding preference because they want to obviously sleep in the same bed, unless the wedding was a disaster. That happens at times. Okay, we want to add the Protection Plan Plus. Add it to every booking you do. Tell your clients it's in there. Tell them it is not required that they purchase it, but you highly recommend it because it covers if there is an emergency death in the family, if they were to lose their job, to where if they're canceling, last minute, it's going to cover them to where they either get a credit back on their travel or they get their money back completely refunded. Some of these include price rates that are non-refundable rates. So if they do not purchase it, or if there's a cancellation policy in there to where if they cancel, less than 3 days or a week in advance, less than a week in advance, then they have forfeited their funds. So we want to make sure that they have transportation. Always add that. If there is no transportation, you need to let your clients know that it is not in there. So now we're going to come over here and we're going to create a quote. Go through, look at it all, make sure the protection plan's in there, and it lets them know what the cost is. This $500 isn't cheap, but that $500 to keep them from losing $7,000. We haven't entered any information on their names or anything like that. This says where they're going, what's included in it, round trip transfers, and all of that. You come down here and you press agree and continue because this is a quote. Okay, and now it has given us our quote number. You can view the itinerary, and you can choose to send the itinerary to yourself. When you click send it to yourself, it's going to show the commissions. I don't send that to myself just for the simple fact of I forget, and I would not want to send the wrong one to a client, and I always send everything to myself before I send it to a client just to verify. So we're going to click send itinerary to client. It's showing who it's going to be from. It's going to be from myself. I copy that, put it down here. It's going to be to me. Sending it to myself right now. And then I can come over here. Oh, that's another one that I did. I'll come up here. And instead of forwarding it like this, I would download it. And then you come over here, and if you go down to the very bottom, you look. It doesn't. The last page with Pleasant Holidays will say if there's commissions on there. If it says commissions, that's not what you want to send to your client. So now we're going to get off of that one. You're going to come over here, and this is where it's got the terms and the conditions. I download that. And then I go to compose. And then I come up here and I add it to it. And then I add in who it's going to, and I tell them that this package includes their transportation, their flights, and their hotel resort stay, and all of that information is in there. And then that also included is their protection plan. So they need to know that that's in there, and then you can let them know then that that is not required, but you do recommend it. And then you click send, and then you have a record of what it is that you sent. That way, if you've built several packages for them, and they say, hey, we really like this one to Hawaii, and you go, okay, well, I built 3 to Hawaii. Which location did you like? Or they say, well, we liked this package with the hotel stay, but we liked this package that had the different flights in there, and this one had a different excursion on there. And so that's what we wanted to do with that. So you have all of those, and you could go off of them and print them out if you want to. But if you go over here under travel agency details, it'll tell you what your commission is going to be. And that's the total commission that'll be paid out to the agency, and then whatever commission option package that you chose will be that cut. So if you chose the 75%, then it will be 75% of that. If you chose 80%, it'll be 80% of that. This right here shows the trip points that you've earned. Trip points add up to where you can earn basically like with your flight points and stuff like that, to where you can use them towards travel. So that concludes our pleasant holidays. If you have any questions, message me. Thank you.